Is Denver the best opponent they've played this year? If you look at it with the Texans, Denver comes in at 6-2. The Seahawks, who they last lost to on Monday night a couple of weeks ago, they're 5-2 and leading the NFC West. The Bucs are 6-2, leading the South, and the Rams are tied with the Seahawks at 5-2. Those are, I think, the three up there. We watched the 49ers. I know you watched them on the film. I'm not going to put those teams. But would you look at this Denver team? Do you think this is the best team they've faced all season?
I think it is if we take all things into consideration here.
Yeah.
And when I say take all things into consideration, I really like the Rams this year, but you literally were first rattle out of the box after Matthew Stafford, took care of, load managed to back all of training camp and saw no action. So that was the first time he and Devontae Adams had ever worked together, and it was the first time that he had been in live action to any degree for all of training camp. And being the first rattle out of the box there, I think this team trumps the Rams team. I think you mentioned it.
That's interesting.
The Bucs team, I believe did they have Mike Evans when they came in here?
Yeah.
Mike Evans? You sure Mike wasn't hurt?
No, they had Mike.
Godwin was
Derek
hurt.
Stingley. Yeah, Derek Stingley locked him up pretty good.
Okay, so that changes the thought
but
there.
But they didn't have Tristan Wirfs. They didn't have both.
I knew they were missing somebody.
Both their tackle. Remember their right tackle got
Charlie
hurt.
Heck was playing tackle.
They had to move their center to left tackle.
There you go.
So they had some injury issues across the O-line.
Okay, there you go. So there's that, and then the Seahawks, I think, are probably the most complete team when you look at it bumped up against Denver. And when I look at Denver, I would say that they are the best team that the Texans have faced this year. Defensively, they're absolute monsters, even without Pat Surtain.
The only team they played this year that are both defense, the Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Total offense, they're 10th. Total defense, they're 6th.
Yeah.
But they got Bo Nix.
You got a quarterback that's dual threat. You got a play caller that is as good as there is in the league. He's got the quarterback's got targets. Defensively, they're like I said, it's a complete unit, kind of like Houston, to where you don't want to lose Derek Stingley Jr. But if you lose a high end player, their ability as a unit and as an all 11 team, stays pretty solid. I mean, it doesn't just kill you. So. Yeah, I would say this is the best team right now that the Texans have faced, the Denver Broncos sitting at 6-2.
Yeah, I think they're, as you said, more complete. When they play them, I think the caveat, because immediately my thought is the Rams, right? Like, is the Rams, I think their defense is not as good as Denver's, but I think the Rams' defense is pretty good. They're very similar to them. But then I think, Matthew Stafford versus Bo Nix, there's just some throws that Matthew Stafford can make and made against the Texans, oddly enough, in that game that Bo Nix just doesn't have yet. But I like the caveat of when they played them early on, I think that Rams team is probably a different team today than they played before. But, I would say – so. Although I think Bo Nix is one that kind of holds effort, or even I would say even Sam Darnold that you're dealing with. Though Sam played pretty silly in the game against the Texans.
As a passer, I'll agree with you. I think the dynamic of the legs that Bo can use. I think in particular against how we play defense in a sense of getting upfield, and we like to get upfield and sometimes run past the quarterback. Well, when you got a guy that can move with his legs, you can't always do that. So I think it alters how we have to play defense versus them, given how much he can run. Right? You got to have some guys that are responsible for Bo Nix. You can't just pin your ears back and rush past the quarterback's depth, because then you got issues. So,
but I just think also with Denver, their big strengths can be real issues for the Texans. Like, the strength of their team is their front seven.
Yeah.
And versus the Texans' offensive line, which, has been up and down with certain opponents. Yeah. Like, I would like in there, like the Rams' front seven, I think the Broncos are the Rams' front seven on steroids. Similar to the Seahawks too. I think even better with the Seahawks than the Seahawks front seven when you look at that group. So I think that's the other part for the Texans in particular. What the Broncos do up front, the Broncos run game. I think the Broncos are the second best run game in football. Right? Like they run it by average a game better than the Lions do. Right? And we saw a couple of times this year the Texans defense, the Tampa Bay game comes to mind. Early in the Seattle game, they struggled a bit with the Seattle run game. So just a couple of things that they do well. And I think this is, Sean Payton's right up there with Sean McVay in terms of coaches they've had to run into as well to help out Bo Nix. So this is a really good football team. But again, man, they and we'll talk about this all week. They got some weird games though, man. They got 13-11 with the Jets, where it's like, what the hell? How are you down to the Giants at home 26-8 with 5 or 6 minutes left? You had that miracle win that you had to come up with, right? They fought it week 1 against the Titans for a while in that game. So they got some weird games, but all in all, for what they do well and what sometimes are struggles for the Texans, this may be the best matchup for them.